lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome in, everybody, once again to the Western States Racing League, live here on Sim Racing Media as we get ready to call race number 19 out of 20 here for these drivers of the Western States Racing League. Take a quick peek here at the points before we get rolling. It is a tight battle. There's only 10 points separating the top two drivers, Chad Simpson and Lyle Swearingen, with, you drop the three lowest weeks. So right now, it is a tight battle. Lyle Swearingen, though, looks to be in the driver's seat as he has the lowest race to drop sitting at 27 points, while Simpson is at 35. So it's going to be a tight battle as they get to finish it off. We're watching live qualifying here at Richmond Raceway. Mike Damoni in the booth, joined with me once again is Chris Murphy. Chris, man, how's it going?
Going great, Mike. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Well, not too bad. Looking forward to a little bit of short track racing after last week being at Daytona.
Yeah, big change from Daytona. Richmond, 3/4 mile racetrack, but it does kind of race like a super speedway. Big tri-oval. It should be an exciting race tonight.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be that way, especially when the drivers get on track and can show you what they can do with their trucks here. Looking back at the previous races, they've raced here since 2010. Okay, so since season 23 all the way up to season 51. And they've only had, of the 23 races, they only have had 18 different winners. So, I mean, almost anybody can win here. James Lehman, Charles Widener, Jeff Schmeier, all not in the race tonight. So it looks like we're going to have a new winner. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here as they get ready to move over to the race session. Looks like everybody's almost qualified. Got Scott Kukas sitting on pit lane there. Looks like he had one lap and didn't like the second one coming through. Lyle Swearingen making quick work on the pole. You and I were kind of talking before we came on air that Lyle Swearingen has almost run 2 races before the race even started with the number of practice laps he ran today.
A little over 250 practice laps. He better be ready or he's going to be tired, one of the two. We might just see him fall asleep about lap 80 here. But he looked really good in practice. Chad Simpson was right at the top of the leaderboard in practice time. So was Jacob Jensen. So Lyle pulled out a good lap there to put himself on the pole. So we'll see what happens here once the race starts. We got a couple guys left to go here. It looks like with Kelman, Fletcher, may not be here, but a couple cars left to qualify. It looks like.
It looks like William Fletcher jumped in, ran some practice laps. Probably seems to be not joining the fray here as they get set to run. Go for Jack Daniels of Dustin Burns. Completed his second lap with a 22:23.
Put him about 16th, starting outside of row 8 there. Not a great lap, but I think he can win from just about anywhere in the field here.
Yeah, I don't know that it really matters where you start at Richmond. I mean, it's one of those tracks where pit strategy is probably going to play a little role, or, you know, where cautions just happen to fall. These guys get in their rides here real quick, and then we'll go trackside.
We watched quite a bit of practice early. Some of these guys, like we said, Virgin made a lot of laps. A lot of guys took a lot of time out there. Looked like the biggest struggle we saw from these guys was getting off of turn 2. I think track's a little slick right there, but we saw a lot of cars getting loose and spinning coming off of 2. So we'll see what happens on this first lap. Should be exciting.
Now let's go ahead and go down the grid. Lyle Swearingen, Jacob Jensen on the front row. Bentley Glazer and Chad Simpson going to make up row number 2. Row 3, Ryan Steele and Butch Davis. JTW and Dennis Fuson in row 4. Row 5, Brian Barnes and Shane Jensen. Got Wayne Hutchinson and Bob Beltrami. We roll on back to 13th and 14th is David Weaver and Scott Kukas. Wayne Fleet and Dustin Burns in row 8. Row 9, Barry Phil and Julian Ricci. Then we got Earl Weaver, Christian Bishop, and then Keith Kelman. Looks like Christian Bishop. Yeah, okay. He just got in his ride. And Keith Kelman looks like William Fletcher has not jumped in, so probably won't see him on track tonight. But that's where they start. It's going to be interesting to see where they end up, though, and how these FBR guys work together. Yes, they're on the same team, but yes, they are battling for a championship, referring to Lyle Swearingen and Chad Simpson.
Yeah, the person you want to beat the most in just about any race is your teammate. You're usually in pretty similar prepared equipment, and you want to show what you got as a driver. If you can beat your teammate, that's the one big step over beating the rest of the field as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something you want to pay attention to. Have to work hard to do it, especially as fast as these drivers have been.
We're starting off the race with 160 laps here, starting off with 80% fuel load. If we run green for a long green run, I think we're looking pit stops about every 40 to 42 laps. I think what you said earlier when we were off mic, they usually average quite a few cautions here in as many races that they ran here at Richmond, so we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, the last 5 races here, they've averaged about 10 cautions per race. So hopefully that's not an omen for tonight. They'll make one final lap here around and get ready to roll. Babs checking in from Missouri tonight, cheering on the FBR contingent as always. Looking at the track temperature, 74 degrees, so cooled off a little bit here as they get ready to go. Pace truck's going to make that left-hand turn down pit lane, and the trucks are going to head to that Geico restart zone. And we are down and away, green flag racing here at Richmond.
Good start there from Lyle. He's going to take the lead down into turn number 1, but that 64 truck sneaking up on the outside right there. But the bottom line's really where you want to be, and Lyle got a really good start. Let's see if he can carry the lead all the way down into 3 and 4.
Yeah, you want to stay right there, stay tight to the bottom. Kind of slide up to the wall on exit, but that kind of is blocked there by Jensen. So we'll see how long he stays out there. It's going to be a little harder on Jensen's tires going, a lane or 2 up through the corner.
It looks like Swearingen's going to clear him there down that back straightaway, and you can see immediately he moves up to the top to try to get a better angle into 3 and 4. And right away starts to put just a little bit of a gap there on Jensen. Not much of truck length, but let's see if he can separate him out here.
Yeah, Lyle Swearingen, 21.89 that time by. Has that Toyota set on rails here tonight. Chad Simpson knows what he has to do. He's got to run fairly well and hope that Swearingen has a little bit of an issue here at Richmond. It's going to be one of the only chances he probably has is next week they head to Phoenix. And Phoenix tends to be one of the stronger racetracks for FBR. So see what he can do here tonight as Butch Davis also getting that STP 43 up inside the top 5.
Yeah, Butch took that win at Daytona a couple weeks ago. First win of the season. First win of the season there for Butch. Look like he's running really well right here. Got a shot at picking up another win tonight if he could just stay right here, tucked in line.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer, a little bit of a slow start, fell in line. Back there in 5th in that 87 Chevy. Ryan Steele down 1 spot as well. Biggest mover of the race, though, is going to come back here to 13th, and that's going to be Christian Bishop. Christian Bishop did not have the qualifying effort that he wanted. Started 20th in this field and is already up to 13th, making pretty quick work of the drivers as he looks to the inside of David Weber.
Yeah, on the opposite end of that, you got Dennis Fusion started all the way back in the 21st spot, started up in 8th, is falling back 13 spots. Must have had a little struggle there on the start.
That is one thing, I can tell you this from experience. When I was racing a short track, I would always do the same thing on restarts. I would get so nervous and make one little mistake and wind up falling back through the field and then just have so much ground to make up.
That's all it takes on a track like this. Just one small mistake, you're going to go back 10 or 12 spots real quick. Heath Simpson just sitting back there in 3rd. Oh.
I don't know what happened to Scott Kukas there. He went backwards in a hurry.
242 Taco Bell Chevys. Falling back just a little bit through the field.
Yeah, I'm looking at
trucks all the line. Sorry, go ahead there.
I'll say looking at lap times though, Dennis Fuson's not that far off the pace as he just ran a 22.09. The leader's 21.85, so not terrible, but he's going to find himself in the clutches probably within the next 5 or 6 laps if he can't keep that pace.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in practice too. The whole field's only separated by about 6 or 7 tenths of a second. And looking at lap times right now, they're running about the same pace in the race here as well. But like you said, it doesn't take much to fall behind here real quick.
Yeah, and the nice thing about these drivers, they've all been racing
Oh.
for a long time together. It looks like Shane Jensen had an issue as he's coming down pit lane.
Yeah, the SimCube Sebi, that's a pretty early pit stop. Must have had a little damage to the truck or knocked a tire down somewhere.
Let's take a look here and see what happened to Dennis Fuson. Caused him to go backwards in a hurry. JTW's behind him there. Oh, just got loose.
Got loose. Yep, got loose off the floor there, down in the grass. Nice save. Not taking down in that pit wall though.
But up front,
Looking
it
at
is still Swearingen.
Yeah, I'm looking at Scott Jensen. He's still sitting in the pit, so I don't know if he's got a lot of repair or he may be done for the day.
Well, Richmond seems to be one of those tracks where you think it's a good idea to get out there and try and run some laps, and then sometimes it's just one of those frustrations where it's like, all right, we're done. As we're under caution. Not sure, Julian Ricci. What happened to Julian here?
Sounds like you might have got a little bit of help here from that number 6 Winn-Dixie Ford. Exactly what happened. Just caught that left rear quarter. See Wayne Fleet get up underneath them there. And truck just drifted up just enough to catch that left rear quarter. Ricci sent him around and into the fence.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things too with iRacing. Once it kind of caught there, that just kind of they just were stuck until they hit that outside wall almost. So we have Fuson, Burns, Ricci, and Jensen all in the pits. Jensen's been in the pits for almost 2 minutes now.
Looks like he may be, if he's in there sitting there that long, he may be retiring from the event here. We're 15 laps into this, coming up on the 16th lap. Let's see if anybody takes advantage of some tires, but it looks like leaders are going to go by and wait for the next caution.
I believe they only have 3 sets of tires, so probably want to save them for a little bit longer stint if they can get some green flag laps here.
Good point.
Especially if you're up front, you have that track position anyway.
Yeah, looks like pulling up the driver's meeting for tonight's race. It looks like each driver has four sets of tires to their advantage. Disposal was the word I was looking for.
Getting ready to stack back up.
Double fire restart. Jensen had a good start there on that first start. If he could just get enough of a run to drop down in front of Swearingen, I think they're both equally running about equal speeds here. It's just who can get to the bottom, get to the front first, and get down to take that bottom line away.
Yeah, Swearingen definitely has the advantage being on that bottom side, but Jensen trying to pin him down here. If he's going to be able to hold him as they get ready to come back to the green flag. Truck is in restart zone, and Swearingen down and away. Didn't waste any time to get going. Has almost a 3-truck lead.
It looks like Jensen might have been asleep there as he's not only Swearingen get away from him, it looks like Simpson's going to take that second spot away.
Jensen going to go down to the bottom, going to try and stick it in there, and he will do just that. Side by side with Simpson.
Simpson saw him coming and moved up the track just a little bit, give him some space. Good race, and good clean race right here for second and third. Early on in this race, only 16 laps in a 160 lap show.
Still side by side. Jensen driving it in deep.
Simpson's getting a good run off that top. He brushes the wall there just a little bit. That's going to hurt him getting down into turn 1. Simpson doing a good job of rolling that car through the center, and he's getting a really good run off. But you can see again, he breaks loose there off of 2 just a little bit. That hurts his run down into 3.
Yeah, Simpson wants to get down just a little bit because he's getting a little too high on exit. He's brushed the wall the last couple times. If he can, he might just have to give up that position and ride behind Jensen to maybe preserve that truck a little bit. That line was a little bit better that time. It doesn't look like he brushed the wall, but he didn't carry as much speed either.
Yeah, he's getting that truck down in the middle a bit, staying out of the marbles in the corners. But right here, he's going to do just like he's actually going to try to cross over. Jensen drifts up high off of 4. Simpson's going to look underneath going into turn number 1. Let's see if Simpson can take advantage of that. Jensen makes a good run in that back straightaway, though, but just doesn't have enough to clear him getting into 3.
And Jensen drives off, coming down the front stretch. They're going to single file out once again. Bentley Glazer seeing that going on. Slides in, but he has a rear view mirror full of Butch Davis here. Davis going to pull down and go to the inside.
Kind of a late dive right there. Glazer sees him coming, moves up just a little bit, no contact. Let's see if Butch can make this run down into turn number 1 here. It looks like he's gonna have this run underneath Glazer to get back into that 4 spot. He was in 4th on that restart, lost that spot to Glazer, so he's gonna try to get it back here.
This is definitely a lot more side-by-side racing than I thought we would see here. Glazer's running hard up against that wall.
Yeah, track temperature's down, track's cool. There's no sun on the, right in the shade, in the dark here, and the lights, under the lights. And I think you're getting a little bit more grip on that outside line than you're anticipating. I mean, there goes Glazer right back by Butch Davis once again, back into that 4 spot.
Looks like Ryan Steele trying to hang on Butch Davis's coattails just a little bit, try and follow him through, but that is not working at the moment. Going back to P8, and that is going to be the biggest mover of the race. The 26 Chevy of Christian Bishop up 12 spots, running P8 as he gets into the wall a little bit.
I was just watching Bishop there. He's going to get a good run here on JTW. See if he can keep moving to the front. Up 12 spots, like you said already. That's a great run here. We watched him in practice. I was really, really surprised how poor his qualifying effort was. He must have struggled on the setup there in qualifying. Good to see him coming through the field here.
Shane Jensen back out on the racetrack after spending almost 7 minutes in his pit stop.
What did he change the motor?
I don't know. He's down what? Almost 15 laps, 16 laps?
15 laps is what I'm looking at.
Butch Davis was trying to close in on Glazer. Glazer driving away now, and Ryan Steele behind Davis.
And meantime, JTW is closed up on the back of that 12 truck. Ryan's still doing a really good job of getting right down on that white line through 3 and 4. He's actually running just a little bit, about a half a car width lower than the cars in front of him. Davis a little bit loose there again. There, Alpha 2's been really, we've been seeing that loose all night long. Trucks losing just a little bit of grip to get it close to that fence. There must be some marbles or something up there. Did a good job of holding on to it.
Yeah, it's like the truck wants to drift up there, and then they go to get back on the throttle, and it just lets loose and basically taps that outside wall. Here's a good recovery drive so far. Dennis Poussin. Saw him involved in that early spin down the front stretch. Came down, got his service on lap 15, and now has driven back up through the field running P9.
Nice run there after spinning down in the grass in the first lap. Made a good run through the field here. But we'll have to see how those tires work out for him having to use up a new set of tires early on. That may come back to haunt him as this race goes on towards the end. Taking us from ground there in the back of Bishop, our big mover of the race, up 12 spots, but Fuson is throwing him down here. But as I say that, Fuson looks up underneath JTW, and he is going to take away that number 7 spot. So now up 13 spots.
Yeah, Christian
He's
Bishop
coming to the front in a hurry.
Yeah, Christian Bishop made that look easy. A little high on entry there, but he's going to be able to drive off and keep the spot from JTW. Ryan Steele is going to be the next under attack here from Bishop.
A little bit off of 2 there. It's giving him a good run down the back straightaway. Let's see him do it again here. You can see he's using that little bit different line down here in 1 and 2. Excuse me, 3 and 4 than the rest of the field. You can see him just getting a good run right up on the back of Steele. They get into 1, it actually runs right in the back of him just a little tap. Picking that outside line work down here in 3 and 4. Watch, he's getting a really good run off of 4 here. Just not enough to get underneath Steele going down into the corner.
Yeah, it looks like Steele's almost backing up the corner a little bit as fast as Bishop's getting to his rear bumper.
Like Steele saw that work and is going to move up in that middle line as well. See if that works for him at all. Good race here for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Steele was kind of our dark horse at Daytona. Ended up in a crash right at the end of the race. He's doing a good job right here. He's moved up a couple. Well, actually, he's lost 1 spot, but he's still in the top 6 here, trying to get around Butch Davis for that 5th spot.
Going back through the field here, we got Brian Barnes running just behind Bob Beltrami, just outside the top 10. Everybody else back here is separated by over a second, so no real battles going on towards the back of the field. Everything's up front being pretty closely monitored. And as I say that, Swearingen's just starting to drive away.
0.2 second gap here to the field. He's looked pretty solid. I was kind of joking earlier about all those laps he ran in practice, but it looks like they're paying off right now as he's putting a little bit of distance. He's got 5 or 6 cars all behind him here in a line, and he's gapping him here by about 8 or 10 car lengths, it looks like.
It looks like he might have messed up that corner just a little bit, but it doesn't seem to have slowed him down too much. He's definitely arcing that corner, staying it as wide to the wall as he can, almost, I mean, as long as he can, and tries to straighten that corner out as much as possible, too.
Yeah, I'm looking up ahead. He's got a lap truck up in front of him, about half a straightaway ahead. Looks like he's probably going to catch him here in the next few laps. Must be that Julian Ricci in the 1 truck, I believe. Just guessing.
Yep, Julian Ricci in the 1 truck is just in front of him. Ricci involved in that early race spin on lap 15.
Hoping to get a caution here, get himself a lucky dog, get back to the back of the pack, and see if he can make his way through here after losing some ground. But he's struggling to keeping that car down on the bottom in the corners there.
Well, the nice thing is He's got 5.5 seconds at least after the leader goes by before another lap truck is anywhere on the screen. So he's got a little bit of a cushion to keep that lucky dog if he does happen to go a lap down.
Virgin now with stretching that lead out just a little bit more, up to about 1.5 seconds. Looks like Reach is going to go to the bottom and tell Swergen if he wants to go around, he's got to go to the top. And as I say that, they switch spots. Put the lap truck between himself and that second place truck of Jacob Jensen. Jensen still got his hands full with Simpson. Simpson's about about a truck length back. I keep saying car, I know, but I told myself all day long I was going to say truck.
I still do it. Chad Simpson, Butch Davis, Bentley Glazer. And all these drivers are pretty well connected here from Jensen to Busan there. So 3rd through 8th.
All bumper to bumper right here. Just it looks like there's not able to, nobody's fast enough in front of somebody to make a move, so they're just kind of hoping somebody makes a mistake at this point. But it looks like Bishop's charge to the front is stalled right here in that 7th spot.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that's where he is set here in that duty calls 26 Chevy as he's rolling around. But they're dealing with Julian Ricci there mixed in between as Steele goes to the bottom to try and get by.
Ricci doing a good job just kind of staying up out of the way, running his line. And he, as I said, he brushes the wall. Every time I say something, something changes. So he brushed the wall right there, but didn't really hurt anything. And now Fusion's got to deal with that lap truck. He's going to stay up here in this battle for this top 6.
It's always a matter of when you catch that lap truck, how much it's going to slow you down. And as we're looking at these laps starting to click off, we just completed lap 53, so everybody's going to be thinking about when they need to pit. Yes, we had the caution. Yes, it kind of separated out some of those fuel run numbers maybe, but I'm going to assume that everybody's going to want to be coming somewhere in, I'll say, the next 5 to 10 laps or so, give or take.
Yeah, the math I did earlier, I'd agree with you, but I was wrong last time, so it's they run this 80% load, so it's a little bit more challenging on the math. But I was thinking we were going to see pit stops between about lap 48 to 52. So they've gone a little bit longer than that. So we'll see when somebody starts peeling off. Simpson now worked his way back onto Jensen. He's going to look underneath him down here. He got a little bit loose getting in and saved it. Nice job of saving that, not drifting up into Jensen.
Well, that's the other thing. When you start making these late green flag run passes, you've got to hope your tires are ready for it when you drive in that aggressively, as he's up to 2nd now. Jensen trying to battle back on the high side.
I had put a lot of trust in those tires diving in there that hard that late, but it did stick. And he's going to set his sights here on Swergen. So he's going to have to get in front of Swergen if he's going to have a chance to hold on to that points championship as we go after this race to going down to Phoenix.
Yeah, it's definitely going to tighten up that points battle.
Looks like Jensen's having a little harder time holding that bottom, getting into the corner. As you can see, Butch Davis is able to run up on the back of them there as they come off of turn number 4. It looks like Butch might take a look here going into 1 for that 3rd spot, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, it looks like looks like that 64 just, the tires are just not what they were or the line is just not what he's used to running. As he gets loose there, slides up the track a little bit. He's going to stay right behind Butch Davis, but did lose that spot. And now going to have Bentley Glazer and Ryan Steele looking after him, as Glazer looks like he's going to go down a position.
Sounds like we got cars starting to pit right now. We're hearing through the headset. A couple cars in the back of the field starting to come in. Kelman going to pull in, so we'll see if that starts a chain reaction of pit stops. Green flag stops here is Steele now. Jensen just falling back because he is having a hard time holding on to these tires here after 50, 60, actually 60 laps now. If he is dropping back through this field, let's see if Steele can make the pass here for that 4th spot.
It looks like Steele's going to be looking there, and also Christian Bishop looking to the inside of Bentley Glazer. Steele's going to take that spot, as Jensen's probably going to have to give it up here and fall in line to do that there. Oh, Bishop almost sideways there. A little drift action in that 26. 64 battling back on the bottom side now.
A lot of action right there. Jensen got a little bit loose, and there he is loose again off the corner. Is he going to hang? Oh, nice save. He comes off a 4. He just about lost that truck.
Drifting through the front straightaway is the 64 machine of Jacob Jensen.
Surprised if we didn't see him drop into the pits here in the next few laps to get some new tires on. He is really struggling on these old tires.
Barry Phil came in. Swearingen still setting sail, out to almost 2.5 second lead now.
He is running very consistent laps, just putting a gap on the rest of this field. He just needs a good pit stop here in a green flag condition. He's going to hold on to this lead. Wouldn't take much to lose that 2.5 second lead real quick if you make a mistake getting in the pits. We saw that a couple weeks there at Daytona pile up as they were coming into the pits.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen is losing that truck. He's lost it a couple times. Check that outside wall. Now he has Dennis Fuson trying to get by on the inside. Fuson looking inside, and he's going to get that pass. Tito's vodka machine looking hard on the bottom, and he'll clear. Jensen almost got loose again.
The last 5 laps, Jensen's gone from 2nd all the way back to 8th. He's loose again.
Almost drifting through the front stretch.
He'd win the drifting championship if it was here tonight. Oh, it looked like we might have had the 04 truck up in the fence as a lap. They were putting him a lap down, looking at the other screen. You can see him slowly going around here as he's going a lap down.
Yeah, doesn't letting the drivers go by, trying to stay out of the way, not get involved in anything.
Would have to expect the outside fuel ranges somewhere around lap 80. And as I say that with great confidence, I would be completely wrong. But we got to take a guess somewhere. Looking up at the split times, though, Storage is still about a 2.5 second lead. So Simpson's done a good job of keeping that gap and not losing any more ground. As a 240 truck of Scott Kukas goes a lap down.
Yeah, Swearingen just seems to be hitting those drivers just right to make the passes nice and easy.
Yeah, you want to catch them getting into the corner and hope they see you. Just give you that bottom line. You don't want to catch them in the middle of the corner.
No, especially with how much speed that 68 machine's carrying.
Looks like we have Nifty Funk in the chat hoping for a caution here to close the race up a little bit.
I need one of those magical debris cautions we used to get. Or as they call them now, manufacturer cautions.
Yeah, manufacturer cautions, yeah. Or when you Michael Waltrip over to drop the caution flag again.
Literally.
The interval times, it looks like the top 4 trucks are kind of getting in the way a little bit. Bishop, great charge from 20th all the way up to 5th, but he's about 1.2 seconds back on Ryan Steele. He's having to deal with this battle here for 5th with Glazier.
Yeah, Ryan Steele had the fastest lap that last time by with the 22.94 of the top 5. If they can get about 6 to 10 more laps, maybe they'll be all right with just a one-stop race.
We got a caution.
Oh,
Got a caution coming out for something. I didn't see who it was, though.
oh, guess. Seen him drifting through the straightaway a couple times.
Was it Jensen?
Yep.
That truck just got out from underneath him. A little bit of contact from Beltrami there. Actually probably saved him a little bit from going around a little more, straightened him out. I took a little bit of damage on that left front. Looks like everybody's coming in. Yeah, he held on to that truck as long as I'm really surprised he pushed those tires as far as he did. He'd been struggling for about 10 laps now. Good view there from Beltrami. You hear him getting out of the throttle. You're trying to kind of point at where they are, hoping they're going to move away, but he still ended up catching the left front of Jensen's truck as he spun around.
Well, Full Sail pit stops as per, what we were thinking. That'll really definitely close it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if we get through the rest of the race without another caution, but at the same time, if we do, one stop stretching tires out for another 84 laps would be pretty tough. As you can see, most of these guys were struggling there towards the end of this run.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that Swearingen's going to take the bottom side and Simpson's going to go to the high side.
Yeah, Simpson had a pretty good run up on the top early on with that Toyota. See if he can do something here on this start. If he can roll that top just enough to get a truck width in front and move down in front of Swearingen, but Swearingen's just been strong all night long.
Jacob Jensen and Bentley Glazer back in the pits. That's interesting.
Looks like Swearingen wants to race with a pace truck here.
It looks like Jensen and Glazer are trying to get as much fuel as they can. Maybe turn this into a fuel mileage race as they came down topped off with fuel. Gonna have to start at the back of the field for probably entering a closed pit as they get ready to go back to green flag racing. Swearingen on the bottom, Simpson on the top. Swearingen down and away and gone.
Another good jump right there. Simpson just did not anticipate that start, and he's going to lose about a truck length. And thought he might have a good chance to get up on the outside, but Swearingen just drives away here.
Yeah, Swearingen drives away. Bishop inside outside trying to stay behind Butch Davis there, but Ryan Steele seems to be a little loose. Brian Barnes around sideways, drifting through the front stretch, keeps it going in the right direction, but those fresh, cold tires are not what the doctor ordered here when you start racing a little hotter than you need to.
And he keeps it going, so no caution. Bishop now up 16 spots up into that 4 spot as he clears Steele here on that restart. Oh, we get back up to the front. It looks like Simpson's got to run underneath Swearingen here.
Oh,
He might just
Swearingen
have a
off
new
the
leader.
wall.
Swearingen saw a tight gap between Simpson and Davis and jumped right down in there, but now Davis is going to get up underneath them as they come off the corner. And we've got a new leader in Chad Simpson.
Yeah, Chad Simpson wasted little time running the fastest lap of the race, the 21:80, still off of the qualifying time, so not the fastest lap we've seen tonight, but just what he needed to get up to the lead, and he wants everybody that he can to get by Lyle Swearingen.
Swearingen seems to be struggling on this new set of tires. He was really good on that long run, as he had about a 2.5 second lead before that caution came out. And he got a really good jump on this restart, so I'm really surprised to see him struggling here about 2 laps after the green flag here, falling back to third. And he looked like he might be falling into the clutches of our hard charger here, Christian Bishop. Bishop's now looking to the outside. He's right up on the tailgate of Swearingen here. They head down the back straight into 3. I think you're going to see Bishop move to the top like he's been doing. They're in that middle groove. Let's see how good a run he gets off of 4, if he can make a run down Swearingen getting down into the first corner.
Now trying to get down there, just hasn't been able to yet.
It's close. Nose to tail.
Yeah, gets close, just can't quite get there.
He gets a good run off of 4 there on that middle line. He's just not able to get down low enough into 1 to take that line away from Swearingen.
And Simpson's starting to maintain that gap, that about a 1/4 of a second gap. They're all separated by about the same as we're working closer to lap 90, over halfway through here at Richmond.
Simpson's doing a good job here. Good job just holding the lead here from Butch Davis. Again, Butch Davis won 2 weeks ago at Daytona. Let's see if he can go 2 for 2 in the last few weeks.
Butch Davis trying to get down to the inside. Chad Simpson wants to give everybody plenty of room. Doesn't want to get involved in anything and lose his ability to gain any points here.
Butch going to have that inside line in that 43 STP, but Simpson with a good run off of 2 on that outside line, able to get back down to the bottom and reclaim the lead. Good battles all up front here, first, second, and third, all the way back to the 5th spot. Steele trying to make up some ground there on Bishop, as Bishop's trying everything he can to find a way around Swearingen and get himself into the top 3. Further back to the field, and our 2 late pit stop during that caution with Glazer and Jensen, and they're working their way back up through the field now, up to 10th and 11th. I'd be really surprised if they could stretch out that fuel mileage and stretch out those tires all the way for one stop. They did come in a couple laps later than everybody else.
All right. Well, while they're doing this, we're going to step aside real quick. We'll be back momentarily, have a quick commercial real quick, and be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Didn't miss anything while we were away. Chad Simpson leading the race. Butch Davis second. We have a lap truck in between Barry Phil, driving a little aggressive there, trying to hang on to his position.
A little further back. Glazer's moved his way up to 8th after starting about 15th on this restart. Coming back towards the front, has made his way around. It is Fuson. How do I pronounce that? Fuson?
Fuson.
Fuson, thank you. I had to mess up at least one name tonight.
No, I messed up for a long time until somebody corrected me. I'm like, oh, hey, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. There's no I in it, it would be Fusion, right?
Yeah, exactly. Christian Bishop still continues his march towards the front, up 16 spots from where he started the race, hanging on to the rear bumper there of Lyle Swearingen.
This second set of tires have not been friendly to Swearingen. You can see him kind of get a little bit loose getting in the corner there.
Well, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the tires or the fact that he's in dirty air now.
That's a good possibility. He was out in clean air for a long, long time. Bishop's tried just about every line he could think of here, moving up to the top here, again through 3 and 4. It seems to be working really well for him, but here of late, he's not gaining near as much ground as he was early on in the race. Not that I'm going to question his line and passing ability, as he's moved up 16 spots. Doing a great job here. Simpson's still out in front, but he has not shaken Butch Davis at all, only half a second back.
Drivers. I'm say looking at the driver here in Jacob Jensen making a pass on Dennis Fuson. Bentley Glazer already by.
You see a little bit of damage on that left front fender of Jensen. It doesn't seem to be affecting him too much here on the short track.
Yeah, a little bit, not too bad though.
Blair. Picker did a good job of fixing it under that caution. Beltrami did give him a good shot there when he spun around. Both Jensen and Glazer doing a good job charging back up in here after they pitted late in that caution.
Yeah, they pitted that first time, got those tires, and then came down on that closed pit to get as much fuel as they could into those rides. So look for them to try and make it to the end of the race. Everybody else is probably going to have to pit or drive a little bit more cautiously.
16th lap here. Trying to do the math in my head. Was that 44 laps left to go? Sakona to put a lap on that 6 truck. I really like that Winn-Dixie Ford right there in front of him. Nice tribute to Mark Martin's old Busch Grand National cars.
Yeah, definitely on there. These guys are battling for position just in front of the leaders. Wayne Fleet and Julian Ricci. That's got to be one of the worst things you can see when you're leading and you're coming up onto some lap cars and they're battling for position as well.
Yeah, the only nice thing about it is they have mirrors. Back in the old dirt track racing days, if you come up on a couple of guys like that, they had no idea you were coming. So at least they see him coming. As you can see, Wade Fleet kind of moves down out of the line there. But you're right, when you're coming up through here and you got a guy right on your tail like Davis is on the back of Simpson, you're just hoping these 2 trucks in front of you get out of the way so you can get going. Ricci's doing everything he can to try to hold on. Down the lead lap right now. Simpson's having a fight to get around it, but as I say that, he makes a good move to the bottom. Ricci stays up on top, but you can see that little bit of fighting has let Butch Davis close back in. He's gained about 2 to 3 tenths of a second here during that last couple of laps as they were trying to get around these lap trucks.
Yeah, that gap was almost a second. Now it's down to 3 or 4 tenths at the moment. Lyle Swearingen's going to have to battle these guys as well. Looks like he caught him at almost the wrong time, right into the entry of the corner as Wayne Fleet's down on the bottom. Julian Ricci's up high.
He lost a little bit of ground there, having to go to the outside of Wayne Fleet there for sure. Swearingen's been able to get away from Bishop. Bishop was all over the back of him there for quite a few laps. We've got about a second gap on him now. As he tries to set sail up here to the front. He's actually gained a little ground here on that fight for the lead between Simpson and Davis. So maybe this truck's coming to him here late in this run.
Yeah, Bishop's was one of the faster trucks towards the end of that run. We're what, 40, a little over 40 laps on these tires here, so we'll see what, see if anybody starts to lose it. We did see, Jensen start to lose it a little bit. Glazer looked like he was getting a little bit loose.
The only advantage is we go deeper into the night. The track's cooling down a little bit. Tires where it'll be a little bit less, but at the same time, as the track cools down, the tire's going to get a little bit more grip, so it could eat up a little more rubber, so they may wear out just a little quicker. There's 35 laps left to go. Well, I'm going to be shocked if these guys don't have to come in and take a splash of gas, or these tires just don't completely go away from them here at the end. But Simpson, Davis, and Swearingen so far doing a good job, all within about half a second to less than a second away from each other right now. And you can see Swearingen gaining a little bit of ground there on Butch Davis in that second position.
Yeah, it looks like Swearingen might have been saving a little bit of fuel for the first part of that run, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of, because he was just so dominant early. But one of those,
Yeah, I think he might.
but like I said, one of those things is when you're that dominant, you kind of think you can just go to the back a little bit and then charge back through, and it looks like he might be having a little hard sailing coming back through the field again.
Yeah, you make a good point. That might have been exactly what he was doing. He dropped back a little far. It's going to be tough to make this ground up, because Simpson's just running really consistent laps right now. And actually, Swearingen's losing a little bit of ground this lap or two to him. Like looking at the leaderboard, Ryan Steele was able to get around Bishop. Bishop sliding back through the field. Does he pull down into the pits?
Oh, he got loose though. Let's see what happened to Bishop here. Like he went off track.
Sign Steele looking up underneath of him here. There's a little bit of contact. Oh, there was. It looks like Bishop got just a little bit loose. Started to correct the car, and Steele was there, and Steele catches that left rear quarter and sends him down into the grass. That's a shame. Bishop was having a good run charging through the field. He's still up 10 spots from where he was, but he was sitting up in that 4 spot looking to have a really good finish here after starting way out in the back.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, getting a little loose, and Steele probably looked like he might have been a little bit tight just floating up the track, thinking that Bishop was going to slide a little closer to that wall, and just made a little contact, and that's what kind of happens there.
All it takes on a track like this, it does not take much. You're already right on the ragged edge coming off the corner, and just a little bit of a tap, and you're going to go around. He did a good job of not not get into the fence somewhere and doing any more damage to the truck than he did.
These guys are getting close to that danger mark as far as tires go. About 60 laps on this set.
Definitely falling off, but top three are all still pretty equal times. And Ryan Steele's now moved up into that 4 spot with Bishop out of his way, and let's see if he can make up any ground on Swerge and see if he can get himself up into a podium position. Keep about maintaining about a 1 second gap behind Butch Davis. Davis about 0.3 of a second behind Simpson. It wouldn't take much. Simpson just gets loose one time getting in a corner, and Davis is going to be all over him.
Yeah, waiting to see who blinks and has to come down first, or if they're gonna make it. I don't know. It's gonna be a tight battle here.
Feeling these guys most of these guys up here in front were planning there'd be at least one more caution. We had a couple spins. The caution didn't come out, so we're kind of surprised. If they were averaging 10 cautions the last few races here, they're doing a good job, but only with one tonight so far. Or was there 2? Kind of old, my memory lags sometimes.
Oh, I think there's only one.
Good shot right here. Jensen and Glazer trying to work around that lap truck of Wayne Fleet. 3 wide off the corner there. Wayne kind of backs off, sees him racing there, gives him some space.
Now these two drivers here, Glazer and Jensen, they came back down pit lane on lap 78, topped off on fuel. So they've got at least 2 laps more fuel in those trucks than the rest of the drivers do. So if the other drivers need to come down and get a splash, maybe Glazer and Jensen can steal one here.
I think that was their thinking. That was their thinking process when they made that late stop. I just don't know exactly what the fuel window is, but you can see Jensen here. These 2 trucks have been glued to each other ever since that caution too. They're both coming through the field together.
Well, Jensen's been doing awesome hanging onto that truck after that first stint on those tires. He was the driver that seemed to be drifting a lot more, and he's been able to hold on to it. As you see Bentley Glazer go almost into that outside wall.
Yeah, you're right. Jensen was struggling just about more than anybody else we saw. He was definitely struggling on that long run earlier. But he's doing good here as they're going to try to both come up on the back of Wayne Hutchison here to see if they can move up into that 6 spot. And KTW right in front of them. So a good fight here for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th between these 4 trucks.
This is the closest battle on track. Jensen looked like he was going to try and pull down. Didn't quite get there, but Hutchinson saw him and pulled up the track. And loose goes Jensen, going to lose a little bit of time there.
It's a little bit loose off before. We saw that earlier with him. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. But he's got a good job holding the bottom right here, trying to get around Hutchinson for that 6th spot. Nice run into the corner right there. That should give them enough momentum to come off here. They're all going to deal with this lap trick of Ricci there right in front of them, though. I think Jensen's going to be able to use them as a pick if they can get up here. Ricci there up on the top. And that is good. Hutchinson's going to have to fall in behind Jensen there. Jensen up to 6 now.
Hutchinson has a pretty strong run, up 4 spots, running P7 now.
fight herself that 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. If Jensen has anything for JTW here, he's getting a good run off the corner off of 4. I think he's going to try to take a dive into 1. JTW is going to close the door, but he's going to stick his nose in there anyway, and they're going to make a little bit of contact, and around goes JTW in that truck. Hutchison and Glazer both also go around with him.
Synchronized spinning.
I think Jensen stuck his nose in there. I think he thought Wilkinson was going to give him the room, and JTW tried to come down and take that bottom line away. Contact was made. And like you said, synchronized spinning.
Oh, Hutchinson just didn't slow up either.
Yeah, back at JTW there, but as you can see, Jensen, and then a little more contact there as Hutchinson trying to get going, but you can see Jensen here wanting to stick his nose down there. He thinks JTW is going to stay up there. He's down on the yellow line. JTW starts to come back down to that line, and Jensen's got his nose there. Hutchison and Glazer. It's going to spoil a really good run from Glazer coming from the middle of the pack, but it looks like our field strategy is out the window now with 12 laps left to go. Everybody coming in and getting on new tires. Did I see this right? Did Butch Davis beat Simpson out of the pits?
Butch Davis going with 2 tires and like 2 tires.
Gonna take the gamble here. I think he thinks this is probably his only chance at the win here. He just didn't have enough oomph to make a run at Simpson there. So maybe with his 2 tires he can hold him off here for, I think by the time we go green, we're probably only going to have about 9 laps left at the most.
Yeah, this definitely is going to be a little bit of a shootout here.
Where he finds himself still back up into 3rd. Jensen now up to 5th. And Bishop's going to get a little bit of a reprieve there. He's going to be in that 6th spot here. Up 14 spots. So see if he can find some. He's going to get up on that outside line. He's like that outside line all night long. Let's see if it works to his advantage here late in the race as well.
So Simpson, Davis on the front row. Spurgeon and Steele, row 2. Jensen and Bishop, row 3. Beltrami and Barnes.
Spin in the grass, so really good run for him to get back up into the top 10, and we're going to go green. Butch Davis with a good jump. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Butch Davis with a great jump there, jumps up to the outside, going to take away the line from Simpson, but it's got to be hard if you're that 43 machine. You have 2 fast trucks that have dominated most of the race behind you. You got to kind of pick which one you want to block.
Butch is going to have his hand full here right now. He's got Swearengin. Swearengin loose off the corner, and he's going to go around it. And did I see Jensen also going around behind him? 2 trucks both around. I didn't see what happened. Looked like Swearengin just kind of lost it on his own, but I didn't see what happened to Jensen, but both trucks around.
Take a look and see.
Steele gets in the back of Jensen there.
He's back. He's back fine.
Yeah.
Oh, now he got loose again.
And then he gets a second bump, and Steele's going to finish him off.
Barnes got one too. Take a look here from
the melee off the corner. What it looks like Swearengin goes around, and maybe Jensen sees that, lifts a little, gets a little bit loose there, and still gets into him, but then he lifts a little bit.
Well, Barnes trying to avoid Jensen, gets into Hutchinson. Hutchinson goes back up the track, hits the 46 machine.
Second time in about the last 5 laps, Hutchinson is just a victim of somebody else's mistake. Yeah, it looked like maybe Jensen was checking up a little bit for that spinning truck of Swearinger, and Steele just didn't anticipate it and hit him that second. Right, he gets into a little bit here, gets him loose, but he straightens out just fine. But right here, what almost kind of happens all at the same time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is going to put Swearinger all the way back to 14th spot. Sorry for my poor language, but he's back to 14th after leading so much of this race early.
I mean, not that Chad Simpson wants his teammate to do bad, but that definitely helped him.
That's definitely going to help. That's definitely going to close up that points battle going to the last race at Phoenix for next week for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna help a little bit with Chad Simpson. Chad Simpson only has a 10-point lead, but Swearinger loses a 27-point race, depending on how he does tonight. And right now, it looks like he's still gonna lose that 27-point race, but he won't gain quite as many points.
Yeah, I'd like to see us go into that last race at Phoenix with a really tight battle. Five laps left to go. If we go green next time by, we're going to have a 4-lap shootout.
And we make 4 laps.
I'd have to put some money on him. We might see at least one green-white checkered here. Let's see if we get any tempers come out after this. Everybody's kind of calmed down. Jensen's getting his spot back there in front of Steele. Start. Here we go.
Yeah, single file restart as he
jump.
didn't get 1 lap, but that definitely helped Butch Davis and Chad Simpson.
Butch got a really good jump, but Simpson made a really good run off of turn 2. Is able to close the distance, and he's now on the back bumper of that 43 STP.
Yeah, Simpson trying to get max points as we are under caution once again.
He's something with Swearinger. I'm not
Ricci?
quite sure. Was it?
Take a look.
The truck is looks like a bunch of checking up right in front of him.
Oh, Weaver. David Weaver. You're right. Swearinger was 46 machine. This is 16.
Just a chain reaction.
Weaver.
Did the Weaver take out the Weaver?
Yep.
Are we in a relation? We're gonna be green-white checkered here. Is there's
Green-white checker, yeah.
159. We get what, 3 attempts at green-white checkered? Is that the
3 attempts.
Butch Davis got a really good jump on that last restart. Let's see if he can do it again. He'll now work his way up into 3rd, and Christian Bishop sitting in that 4th spot of 16 spots. He's kind of been yo-yoing up and down throughout the field here tonight. See if we can do this in one shot. If they get to the white flag, it'll be all over.
That's the worst part about Richmond or any of these little shorter tracks. Usually cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, they typically do. Usually when somebody makes a mistake, it's you get back all piled up here late in the race. Everybody's impatient. Maybe a little temper's flaring here and there. Tires wore out. It's easy to make a mistake. You're a little tired after running 150 to 160 laps, and especially since some of these guys ran 150 laps in practice. Put that all together, and it's been a long night.
Yeah, lights are still on the pace truck, so this is the 5th caution of the night.
Wait, halfway to that average of 10, so they're doing a good job tonight.
And it's going to be a double file restart as we're able to get a couple laps of green flag racing there, so that definitely helps Simpson. Simpson's going to wait and be right on that quarter panel, trying to get a smooth drive coming into one.
They're out on the truck. Let's see if Butch can get a little bit. Davis can get a little bit of jump here on Simpson as they come off a 4 here. This first attempt at green-white checkered. Trying to get a little heat in the tires.
Pace truck is in. Davis with the button. Waits to about halfway, and he is down and away. Chad Simpson's going to try and clear down, and not quite clear there as Ryan Steele sticks his nose in.
Butch Davis likes what he's seeing in the mirror. Those two trucks side by side are really going to help him get away from him. But Simpson was actually with a really good run on the outside at 2 there. And he is going to clear Steele getting down into the corner. Oh, as I say that, he pushes up the track just a little bit. Steele back up underneath him. And Steele loose. That's the white flag. Next flag's going to end it. Butch Davis with the lead. Simpson all over the back of him. And look who's sitting there in that 3rd spot. Christian Bishop all the way from 20th up to 3rd. They're coming off a turn 4. Davis looking at that checker, starting to finish it off.
Butch Davis looking for a win back-to-back here for that 43 in FBR Motorsports. Chad Simpson and hard charger Christian Bishop with the fastest lap of the race as well with 21:79. Lost engine. Top 8.
Good run. You got by about 4 trucks there at the end of that last couple of laps. Somehow Beltrami worked his way up into a top 5. We didn't really say his name most of this day, and Barnes is going to come home in 6th after spinning early. She's going to burn some tires off here, celebrating.
The Wawa sign.
Yeah, Butch got a really good jump on that. Really good jump as they went back to green. And the best thing that happened to him was when Ryan Steele dove up underneath Chad Simpson. I think that really took any chance of Chad Simpson making a run of Davis away right there.
Guys, get up here in the booth. There we go. I'll let you go ahead and talk to Christian Bishop here.
Christian, great run all the way up to 3rd. You seem to have a little bit of a different line through 3 and 4. We're getting a lot of momentum coming off the corner. Did you find something early on in practice, or that just kind of come to you as the race went on?
That was just something I started using in the race. I kind of figured in practice that the top of 1 and 2 doesn't really work because of the exit. It's just too tight, and the way that the track levels back out, you just get thrown into the wall. But in 3 and 4, I was surprised more people weren't trying it. If you got on it early enough, you could really get some momentum, and it seemed like it was faster, at least for the certain portions of the race.
Yeah, we were commenting all the way through the event how you were just rolling that car really well through 3 and 4 up through the middle and coming off the top, and it just gave you a really good run down to the tri-oval into turn 1. Made a lot of your passes down there getting into 1. Started back in that 20 spot. It was sitting way back there. I've been in that position myself a lot of times. and you start that race and you're looking up and there's a lot of trucks in front of you. Did you think you had a truck to get into the top 3?
Absolutely not. I was pretty shocked to get back up into the top 10, but the cautions broke our way late, and sometimes you get some luck. It's always good to pass a whole bunch of cars in a race too.
No doubt, no doubt. It was a really great run. You got anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'll shout out the FBR guys. It was great race from them. Good win to Butch and good win from Chad. Also my other teams, Space Sheep and CFG, and the people who are watching my kids so that I can do this, my wife and mom.
Excellent. Well, good run
And
tonight.
it's actually my mom's birthday tomorrow, so shout out to her. Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday. Well, good run tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week at Phoenix for the season finale.
Heck yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get Chad Simpson up here in the booth. Hey, Chad, Mike in the booth. How's it going?
It's going after that, yeah.
Well, that was a heck of a run. Looked like you and Swearingen and Davis were putting on a show for a while.
Yeah, it was surprising on a short track how the dirty air affected the truck. It was just really hard to pass and really all about saving tires. We get down to the end and Butch with the 2 tires and drivers in this league doing what they normally do, and we get another yellow. Kind of, if we stayed green, I would have been able to get them. The yellow and the green-white checker just kind of threw that out the window for me, and Butch was able to steal that win. But overall, it was a good run.
Yeah, not too bad. Not that you wish calamity on anybody, but Swearingen kind of got caught there at the end, finished a few spots back. So we'll tighten up the points battle, and we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. But as of right now, you're still in that tight points battle with Swearingen there. So how's it feel heading into Phoenix?
Traditionally, Phoenix is not a great track for me. It's been better recently, so I don't know. Lyle's usually pretty strong there, but Lyle's also pretty strong here. We've just been kind of even, so it probably could just come down to whoever finishes in front of who at the last race.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Well, anybody want to thank for your P2 finish here tonight before we let you go?
And thanks to Surf Secure, Cropo, FBR SimRig Accessories Creation Studio. I am still waiting for my replacement FBR SimRig Accessories Creation Studio monitor arm stabilizers because mine broke when I took them off at the move, and the screens are shaking all over the place. Ellis Engineering, Motion, FTT, FR, Satellite Racing, FBR Motorsports. Bob can probably have some more protest file. Fan club. We got another interview, another P2. And we'll see how next week goes.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and we'll see what you can do at Phoenix.
All right, thanks, guys.
Right. Get you the race winner, Chris.
Butch Davis, race winner here at Richmond tonight. Welcome to the booth. Good to meet you, Chris here. Did you think you had a shot? You were right up from the front most of the night, running the top 4 all night long. The late caution really helped you out right there. What something you did on your own to get those 2 tires, or was somebody helping you out with that strategy?
Nah, it was just a call I made. Everybody else took 4. Kind of had that realization that the only way I was going to get around Chad was to beat him on the pit stop. And obviously all of us are in the same Discord together as teammates, and we just kind of shut up when we get down to that last stop, run our own strategies, run our own races. If we didn't get those extra yellows after, what was it, I guess 10 to go or whatever, Chad was going to get by me. I was so loose. But yeah, those extra yellows kind of saved me. Also scared me a little bit because fuel was getting to be an issue. But yeah, it was just go for 2 tires, get to the front, kind of hope for the best. Once we took off, I knew, this thing is a little bit looser than I was hoping it would be. I kind of figured I would be able to hold Chad off for maybe 6 laps or so, and then he was going to get by me. But we got the yellows, and then it was just hold on for dear life and just try to get a good restart, and not screw up so badly that he got around me. I'm pretty sure you guys saw coming out of 4 on the last lap, both of us were jinking left and right, looking like Parkinson's victims on the steering wheels, trying to keep the thing straight. So I'll take the win, man. Like, it's been a horrible season for me. So I'll definitely take this win.
Well, you got a really great jump on that last restart on that first green white checkered attempt, and you had to like looking up in the mirror and seeing Ryan get up underneath Chad there. I think that really helped you get a little bit of a gap there on that last lap coming to the white flag. Were you looking up in the mirror? Did you see him back there going side by side?
Yeah, the only time I glimpsed up the mirror is when I saw Ryan kind of get to the inside, and I knew that would maybe stall Chad just a little bit. You know, stall that that horde of bees behind me. And it was just basically try to hit the marks, fight the truck, obviously, because it was so loose, and just try to hold on for the win. Um, yeah, like I said, I'll take it. It's a heck of a crazy strategy call that late in the race, but the left sides weren't bad. It was just, I think the temperatures were just too different, and that's what made it so loose.
Well, you got last 2 races, 2 wins. You going to Phoenix next week? How you feeling about that? Phoenix, similar track to Richmond?
Not for me. Honestly, I run really, really well here at Richmond, and I hate this track. Um, Phoenix, I really don't like that track either, but I don't run too well there. So try to get all my glory now because next week's probably going to be hell for me. But yeah, it'll, close the season out at Phoenix. Just try to finish well, climb up the points as much as we can. Like I said, it's been a pretty horrible season for me. So just trying to kind of right the ship a little bit here at the end of it and get prepped for next season.
Well, you got anybody you want to thank after tonight's win?
Yeah, definitely want to thank all my guys at FBR Motorsports. Even Christian Bishop runs with us. He's not an actual team member, but he runs with us and has a blast with us. Thank my sponsors at Sim Motion, V&M Simulations, and FBR Simrig Accessories Creation Studio. Thank you guys up in the booth, and thank Bob and everybody that puts on the show at WSRL.
Well, congratulations. I do want to point out this is my second race with Sim Racing Media. They've let me join on with the team. Been here for 2 races, and you've won both of them. So we'll be here next week. Maybe you can go for 3.
Hey, man, stick around. I like it. I like it. Thanks.
All right. Good talking with you, Butch.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
That will do it for the interviews. Let's go ahead and bring up the race results real quick and go through those. Butch Davis, Chad Simpson, Christian Bishop are that top 3. Ryan Steele, Bob Beltrami with the top 5. Brian Barnes, Justin T. Wilkinson, Lyle Swearingen, Bentley Glazer, and Wayne Hutchinson round out the top 10. Going back to 11th is Dennis Fuson, Wayne Fleet in 12th, Julian Ricci 13th, David Weaver and Dustin Burns round out the top 15. Jacob Jensen faded back to 16th. Earl Weaver and Keith Kellman off the lead lap, 17th and 18th. Barry Phils, Shane Jensen, and Scott Kukas round out the field of 21 drivers that took part tonight. William Fletcher jumped in practice but didn't run any during the race. But that is where we leave you guys tonight as we head off into the season finale next week at Phoenix. Watch this tight points battle that is going to happen between Chad Simpson and Lyle Swearingen. See how many points we wind up separated by and what they have to do to bring home this title. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Chris?
Looking forward to Phoenix next week. I think we're going to see a good, tight racer. Phoenix can be a 2-group track a lot of times, so I think we're going to see some really good racing, just like we did tonight at Richmond. I really want to thank you, Mike, for inviting me up into the booth. We had a lot of fun with it so far. Looking forward to next week, and thanks everybody that joined us for the stream tonight.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again to Butch Davis. But from all the drivers of the Western States Racing League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we will see you at Phoenix next week.